Hey, how's it going, everybody? I hope everybody had a really good Christmas, a really good New Year's, and, I wish you guys the best of success in whatever your New Year's resolutions may be. And if you don't have a New Year's resolution, that's fine, too. Just try to make the most of this year and see whatever awaits you. So, anyways, I want to get to the subject at hand. We're going to talk about concealers today, and I've talked about concealers a little bit before in the past, but I've never created an in-depth video about them, and I figured it was necessary because, I get a lot of questions about them, and I've used them before pretty sparingly, but I've been using them way back till over 10 years ago. And for those who don't know what they are, a brief overview of them is that they're basically what they are specifically are synthetic keratin fibers, and you can think of them as kind of like makeup for your hair. So they're not a hair loss treatment in a sense that they're like a pharmaceutical that can reverse or slow down the progress of male pattern baldness like minoxidil or finasteride. Rather, they're just a way to make your hair look more cosmetically presentable, more cosmetically appealing. So in that regard, they do work. They will give the hair kind of a more voluminous, more dense, and just thicker, better-looking appearance. So they're obviously very appealing for people who are fighting male pattern baldness, and even for some people who do not have male pattern baldness or any kind of baldness whatsoever. Some people just have naturally fine hair, and they like the idea of being able to use something that gives the hair a thicker, more cosmetically presentable appearance. But the problem is that they do have several limitations. And there's different kinds. Some of them are better than others, and I'd like to go in depth about them. So one of the more popular brands is Toppik. And Toppik is very similar to Caboki, which is another one that's advertised pretty heavily on YouTube and social media. And they're both about the exact same product. And here's a bottle with the optional spray applicator. Now, if you are going to use Toppik, I do recommend getting the spray applicator, because if you're just kind of pouring it on your scalp, it's going to bunch up, look gritty, and it's just not going to look very good. It's going to give you kind of like a dirty Toppik look. But if you're using a spray applicator, then you can kind of distribute it a little bit more evenly. And both Toppik and Caboki are good. I like them. They're pretty easy to apply. They have a few problems, and the first problem is that it's very easy to go through bottles very quickly, especially if you're a diffuse thinner. Now, if you're a diffuse thinner, then these products are a godsend. They work extremely well. Have you ever seen those commercials where people are nearly completely bald, and then they sprinkle it on and it looks like they have a complete head of hair? That's not trickery. That's not Photoshop. That's actually real. It really does work that well. However, if you have a lot of hair loss, you're going to be going through a lot of Toppik quickly. And also, if you want the fibers to stick to your hair, you have to use a lot of hairspray. And one problem with hairspray is that it kind of causes the hair to stick together, so it can make it easier to see the scalp. So if you don't like hairspray, then you probably aren't going to like Toppik, because you're going to have to use a lot of hairspray to keep the fibers in place. And of course, the same thing applies to Caboki, because Caboki is pretty much the exact same product. I think one possible advantage Caboki has, and I didn't know this until recently, is that Caboki doesn't use any animal products. And I didn't know this, and I wouldn't have gotten it if I did know it, because I'm a vegan. But Toppik actually, I think, uses synthetic sheep fibers. So if you are trying to abstain from animal products, then Toppik is not a good product for you. And that's why I'm not going to be getting another bottle of Toppik. That's an empty bottle of Toppik right there. And I will be using different concealers from here on out. So another limitation with them is that if you use topicals like I do for hair loss, if you're using minoxidil, alpha-estradiol, or if you're using RU58841 for your research subjects, then having a concealer can be problematic. Because, one thing about this concealer is that it's meant to stick to the hairs, not get on the scalp. But throughout the day, what's going to happen is that the fibers will eventually fall down into the scalp. Or if you're sweating or working out or something, eventually it will kind of liquefy and get on the scalp, and it doesn't stick to the hairs, and so it's going to bunch up on the scalp, and that's going to get in the way of you using effective topicals. And furthermore, if you try to apply a topical like minoxidil or anything else, what I've noticed happens is that it kind of combines with the Toppik, and it will turn into this green, really cosmetically unappealing liquid, and it can drip down the scalp, and it just looks unnatural. It doesn't look appealing. It just looks gross. So I don't like it, and that's one of the reasons why I use it very sparingly. However, up until recently, I didn't think there was a really good concealer that can be used for people who use topicals, or for people who are not diffuse thinners. However, I did find one several months ago. All I've known about it for a while. I haven't used it for a long time. And it's called Derm Match. And this is an interesting concealer because unlike Toppik or Caboki, this is more of a liquid concealer. So it's not a liquid itself. It's actually kind of it almost looks like a concealer that you'd see in your wife's makeup. And what you do is that you use one of these brushes and you actually dip it in water and then you kind of brush it around and you'll have like a liquid solution that you just kind of like paint on your hairs. And that sounds really inconvenient, but in terms of just economics, it lasts substantially longer than any bottle of Toppik. And what's really good about it is that, you know, I mentioned diffuse thinners who use Toppik and how it's really, really useful. However, when it comes to the use on the hairline, Toppik and Caboki are just complete bunk. They totally suck. They're terrible for the hairline because if you have like a bald piece of skin right there and then you try to like spray a whole bunch of powder on it, that powder is just going to get bunched up on the skin and it's going to look completely unnatural and it's going to look very, very obvious unless you're in a low-lit setting. However, what you can do with Derm Match is that you can take whatever little hairs you have left on your hairline and you can use the brush and it'll really add a lot more density to the hairline. So it's not going to necessarily treat a receded hairline, but it can make a receded hairline look a lot better. And also, I find that it's good for treating traces of gray hair. Now, it's not going to work for people who are completely gray because, I mean, you're not going to want to like paint your entire scalp with the Derm Match. I mean, that would just be way too inconvenient. But, you know, I'm 38 years old, so I'm starting to get a little bit of a few grays every now and then. And I feel that, like, this is good for touching up just traces of gray that you may see on your scalp. So it's not like a treatment for gray hair, but it's a way to kind of, like, conceal and cover up some small gray hairs. So I feel that in terms of, like, cosmetics, it's much better than Toppik. And also, it's much better if you're using topicals like minoxidil because this doesn't actually get onto the scalp. You just put it on the hair and it sticks to the hair and it distributes out the fibers much more evenly. It's not just a powder that you pour on and hope sticks. It's actually a liquid and you put it on the hair and it will dry and you don't even need to use hairspray and it looks much better as a result. So I still don't like to use these things too often just because I think it's a little bit just, you know, I'm already using several topicals and I don't want to have to apply anything else. You know, I'm not wearing it right now. However, having used it, I think it is arguably much better than Toppik. Not just because it's cosmetically better, but it's also a better option for people who are using topical hair loss treatments like minoxidil, RU5841, alpha-tretdiol, whatever it is you may happen to be using. And also in terms of like, you know, how long it lasts. I mean, I've already had this for like well over a month and there's still plenty of supply left, as you can see. And this thing cost me like 25, 30 bucks, and that's about the same price as like, you know, a bottle of Toppik. So it's not as popular, it's not as widely available, but I think as far as concealers go, Derm Match is much, much better than Toppik or Caboki. That is unless, of course, you're a diffuse thinner, in which case I think maybe Toppik or Caboki are better because, you know, it's just so easy to just like spray it all over the scalp. But if you're just trying to focus on a concealer for specific regions of the hair, or if you use like a lot of topicals like I do, then I think Derm Match is definitely the best option. So anyways, that's all I wanted to say about that. Oh yeah, and one more thing I do want to mention, this was interesting, is that earlier today I actually encountered I think he was a subscriber and he actually recognized me in public, and I had the pleasure of meeting the gentleman, and he was extremely nice, extremely polite. He said some very nice things about me and my channel. I don't know if he's watching, but I just want to say it was very nice meeting you. I'm sorry I didn't get the chance to catch your name, but thank you for watching the channel, and thank you for all the nice things you said about me, and it was nice meeting you. Anyways, hope you guys have a good afternoon, and you know, the only reason why I took a lot of time off was because of the holidays. You know, I got some shit to do and everything like that, so I'm going to be back to more frequent uploads soon, and I'll be sure to be frequent my channel more often so I can answer all your questions and everything, because, you know, I do enjoy doing this stuff. I do enjoy talking about this subject, so you guys can count on 2020 to be a much more content-filled year. So anyways, let me guys know if you have any comments or questions, and I will be as attentive to them as possible, and I hope you guys have a great night. Take care.